Welcome back to Breslov campus. Some preparations and attitudes in doing the mitzvot prescribed on Purim. We can see already that the mitzvot of Purim are broken down into three sections. Four, which are really three. Number one is the mitzvah of giving alms, matanot avyonim, giving money to the poor. Number two is hearing the Megillah, twice, once at night and the second time during the day. And number three is the combined mitzvot of giving food, mishloach manot, ish l're'eu, giving food to your friends, and also having a seuda, a meal, and the climax, getting drunk, intoxicated. These are the three breakdowns of Purim. The Holy Ari teaches that on Purim comes down and is revealed a light that is never revealed any other time of the year. It's called the light of Mordechai, Ha'arat Mordechai. And in Breslov teachings, this means that it's the one day opportunity that every Jew in the world can taste what it feels being connected to a tzaddik. Because not everybody has that advantage and experience. There's Judaism, there's Hashem, there's the Torah, but feeling close to a tzaddik, specifically what's called a true tzaddik, not everyone has the advantage. Whether because of a person's upbringing, where he's located, what access he has in the Torah and the world of Judaism, all these things don't enable and allow everyone to have some connection to a tzaddik. Purim is a gift. Rav Nosson explains that every Jew in the world can feel this closeness and connection to the tzaddik. Namely, in our context, the tzaddik is Mordechai. He's the hero of the Purim miracle, the Purim story. Esther is like the disciple in a sense. She listened, followed the instructions and guidelines of Mordechai what to do. And Mordechai in the end is the one who got the major fame and glory, like we see explained in the Purim story. And the three mitzvot of the day break down in three ways how to connect to this tzaddik, even though he's not physically here. Number one, the mitzvah of giving tzedakah to the poor. This enables a person to connect to the soul, the lower soul, called the nefesh of Mordechai. The nefesh, like the Gemara teaches, and the Torah teaches also, ki hadam hu nefesh. The blood is the place where the soul is to be found. The blood is the soul. Ki hadam hu nefesh. And dam, in Aramaic, like they say, damim tarte mashma. Damim has a double meaning. Damim means blood, and damim also means money, because a person gives his blood for money. A person works and gives his life. He sells his life in a sense in order to earn a living. So that's the idea of a person giving their blood for the money, and they share the same root, damim. And a nefesh is the part of the soul, the lower soul, which is most associated with the idea of occupation. Since like the blood is located in the entire body, and the blood is the place of the soul, so the soul is the part of the spiritual essence of a person that experiences occupation. In other words, being, existence, feeling it. And it's occupational, it's felt. So this idea of the nefesh, by giving charity, tzedakah, to anyone who asks on Purim, and whenever you give to somebody else, there becomes a type of a connection, a thank you, a hakarat tov, a warm affection and respectful connection between the receiver and the giver. You know, I'm appreciative that you helped me and supported me, etc. So this builds a connection of occupational. The word in Aramaic, there's a word in Aramaic which is similar to nefesh. It means nafish, which means occupation, a lot, abundant. So when this mitzvah specifically on Purim, when giving money to the poor, it enhances a lot of connection to people, more than giving the food portions of mishloach manot, because there you're giving it to people who are already your friends. You don't give your enemy a poor mishloach manot. You give people you like already. Whereas by the tzedakah, even someone who you don't know, and you may even know that the person has money, you don't know his condition, on Purim, no questions asked. The mitzvah is you give to everybody. During the year when you give tzedakah, you have to check out, is he a worthy person or not? Is he a fraud? Is he a free loafer? Is a freeloader? What type of a person is he? He's going to use the money for alcohol, for drugs. You're allowed to ask questions and restrict who you give to during the year. But on Purim, we give to everybody. And this enhances the idea of friendship and companionship. And this is how to connect to the light of the Tzaddik Mordechai, so the idea of his disciples. We are, in a sense, the disciples of Mordechai, all Am Yisrael, because we're being alive today. We received from students who received, all the way up in the transmission of the Torah. Mordechai was somewhere there, and he passed on. Thanks to him, the whole generation, the next generation of Jews were saved by the Purim miracle, and as a result also were his disciples technically. He was the head of the Sanhedrin, etc. So by now, us connecting Jewish people together, we're not connecting to followers and disciples of a tzaddik, in particular to Mordechai. This is the mitzvah of giving tzedakah, of matanot lavyonim, money to the poor on Purim. Number 2, the mitzvah of hearing the Megillah twice. This is the idea of the ruach. The ruach of a tzaddik is found in his teachings. Like the Zohar says, explaining the verse in the beginning of the Chumash, where it says, Veruach Elokim merachefet al pnei hamayim, and the Spirit of the Lord was hovering over the water, the body of water, the sea, right? The Zohar explains the waters being the Yam HaTorah, that the Ruach Elokim, the Divine Spirit, was hovering over the pages of the Torah, Anpei Oraita, the pages of the Torah. So the idea of the Ruach is associated with books and teachings of the tzaddikim. In particular, in our context, is the Megillat Esther, the Megillah of Esther, which is the book that Mordechai wrote, put together, right? It's the story of Mordechai. So in a way, it's the teachings of the tzaddik, and we're reading it twice, one at night, one a day. This is to get what's called a double spirit, which Rabbi Nachman talks about. You can take a look at it in lesson 66 of the Kutei Moran. And number 3, finally, is connecting to the upper soul of Mordechai, of the tzaddik. And this ideally should have been done by going to visit his grave, whether it's in Hamadan in Persia, or whether it's in the Galil, in a village called, what's the name? I forgot already. Sorry. It's somewhere next to the border of Lebanon. Bar'am, that's it. Bar'am. There's an opinion that Mordechai and Esther are buried there also in Bar'am. There's a few opinions, like I said. But because not everyone in the world can just take a plane ticket and travel to Persia, Iran, or to the Galil on Purim, so there's another opportunity that every Jew connect to the actual, if you want to say, the body or the grave of Mordechai. And this comes through, believe it or not, the eating and the intoxication. The goal of the eating on Purim is to get, it's called, whenever there's a festive meal, it's called in Hebrew a mishteh. The word mishteh is connected to the word of to drink, lishtot, because the goal of a mishteh is to generate joy. A person, when he's happy, he makes a brit milah, he makes a seudah on Shabbat, on Yom Tov. It's a time of joy. And what brings the climax of the joy, believe it or not, is the drinking part. Since on Purim, the goal is to reach such a level of joy, so it is a big mitzvah that the eating, the food part leads to the drinking part, which in Breslov circles is stressed, and even in the Shulchan Aruch, as the climax. Chayav inish libisume, a man is obligated to get intoxicated on Purim. In Breslov, they take it quite literally, like the Shulchan Aruch says, to actually get drunk. People who have issues of alcohol abuse, etc., they have to ask their Rav. But in general, someone who doesn't have alcohol abuse should go to the maximum in getting to this point of drinking. What happens with intoxication, that a person loses balance, and to the point where the rabbis teach, Ad lo yada ben aru Haman lebaruch Mordechai. Person reaches a level where there's no difference between blessed as Mordechai and cursed as Haman. In other words, they're all the same. What does that mean, they're all the same? That even a person feels so low about himself that he feels that he is in the category of cursed as Haman. I'm so far from Hashem, so blemished, so perverted, so corrupted, that I feel worse than Haman. I feel like I'm on that category. On Purim, through the drinking, reach a level that everybody is part of the ball game. Everybody has a part in the holiness, and there's no difference between blessed as Mordechai, in other words, the blessing of the tzaddikim, and cursed as Haman, the people who feel they've fallen so low that they are part of the curse of Haman. It's all equal. And this is the benefit gained by graves of tzaddikim. This is what Rabbi Nachman explains, Rav Nosson explains it more in detail. The graves of tzaddikim afford people who are so lost to reach their potential, to bring out the real truth in them, giving them a boost from the highest levels of the tzaddikim after they've passed on. And in this case, where Mordechai is the tzaddik of Purim, and his grave is inaccessible to the majority of people, so there's a gift that through the intoxication and the eating, of course, of Purim, we can tap into, quote unquote, like the grave of Mordechai. They say someone who's drunk, he's almost like a dead person. He's about to fall asleep. The mitzvah is to get so drunk that you can fall asleep. And since sleep is 1/60th of death, so in a way, by drinking on Purim, the drinking as a result of the Purim festival, this enables a person, quote unquote, anyone in the world to be able to connect, so to speak, to the grave of Mordechai in order to activate the benefits from this. So we see how the mitzvot of Purim revolve around connecting to Mordechai and the tzaddikim, the idea of tzaddikim after their passing, in order to give people that light and boost so desperately needed, which shines once a year, like the Arizal says, on Purim.